Stop letting rats map your yard. Right now, they are tracking your weakest scent zones. In the next 11 minutes, I will show you the 3-zone planting layout, 7 plants, under $15 total, that makes rats physically reroute around your property without endangering your dog, cat, or kids. And here is the part most channels get wrong. Planting one strong herb will not work, because a rat's brain stops noticing a single smell in under 10 seconds. A year 2000 study in the Journal of Neurophysiology proved it. I will show you the exact 3-zone fix at the 7-minute mark. Plus one bonus plant I'm going to tell you to skip if you have pets. Here is the Lazy Gardener roadmap for the next 11 minutes. First, why single plant strategies always fail. The piriform cortex study and the 10-second habituation rule. Second, the 3-zone defense layout, perimeter, border, foundation, and exactly which plant goes where. Third, the 3 safety rules that protect your dog, cat, or toddler, while rats find your yard unlivable. Plus, I will tell you why I refuse to recommend pennyroyal, even though research suggests it can be roughly 3 times more potent than peppermint. 11 minutes total. First reveal at 1 minute in. Safety section at 7:30. Full diagram at 9:30. I will not waste your time. Before we count down, here's the thing. Here is why one plant alone will not save your yard. A rat's brain runs on smell. The piriform cortex, the part that processes odor, habituates to a single scent in under 10 seconds. That is not opinion. That is a year 2000 study in the Journal of Neurophysiology. Translation. Plant peppermint alone, and within a week, your local rats will walk right past it like it is a tree. The fix is layering. Multiple smells across 3 garden zones, so a rat's nose never gets a break. Let's build the wall. Plant number 7 is rosemary, and it's your foundation's best friend. Gas chromatography breaks rosemary essential oil into 3 weapons. 40.8% 1,8 cineol, 26% alpha-pinene, and almost 20% camphor. That cocktail jams the pheromone trail rats use to mark safe paths. And rosemary is ASPCA rated non-toxic, safe to plant right next to your patio where your dog naps. About $2 at any nursery. Plant it along the foundation, under windowsills, beside the air conditioner unit. Anywhere a rat would slip into the house. Buy a small starter plant, not seeds. Rosemary takes a full year from seed. Space them 3 feet apart so each bush gets sun on all sides. Number 6. Marigolds. Specifically, Tagetes patula. Most channels skip the real reason marigolds work. It is not the flower. It is the roots. Marigold roots release a compound called alpha-terthienol into the soil. Burrowing rodents hate it. So you get a double layer, scent above ground, chemical below. A University of Florida extension has used marigolds for decades to suppress soil nematodes. Same root chemistry that stops a rat from tunneling under your raised bed. $3 a 6-pack. Border them along garden beds, walkways, and your compost bin. Plant them after the last frost. Pinch off the first round of flower heads to force a second, denser bloom that doubles your scent coverage. Number 5. Lavender. Linalool. Linaloyl acetate. Those are the active compounds. They scramble a rat's odor, processing the same way fog scrambles your GPS. But here is the catch. A radial arm maze study at Chiang Mai University showed lavender works for about 7 days on its own. Then rats adapt. That is exactly why one-plant strategies fail, and exactly why we layer. Here is my grandmother's story. She swore by peppermint, planted a whole row of it along her back porch, convinced one strong herb would do the trick. 2 weeks later, the rats were back in the shed like nothing had happened. I remember her standing in the garden, hands on her hips, saying she could not understand it. The peppermint smelled stronger than ever, but the rats had simply learned to ignore it. That is the 10-second habituation rule in real life. When she finally added marigolds and rosemary around the same row, the rat activity dropped within a month. One plant fails, a layered wall works. $2 per plant. Plant lavender in clusters of 3 or more. Clusters amplify scent dispersion. Pick English lavender for cold climates, French lavender for hot ones. Cut back by 1/3 every fall, or it gets woody and loses its scent strength. That is our first 3 plants. Total cost so far, about $7. Total zones covered, still only 1. Which is why most YouTube guides stop right here and lose. Because 3 plants in 1 bed, even good ones, will not save your yard. The next 4 are the keystone. Remember the 10-second habituation rule? Here it is in living color. Side by side, single plant garden, the rat walks right around it. 3-zone layered garden. The rat hits a scent wall, turns and leaves the property. Now back to the countdown. 4 plants left, 1 bonus, 3 safety rules. Number 4. Peppermint. Menthol fires a receptor called TRPM8. Same receptor that makes your skin feel cold when you rub menthol on it. For a rat, that appears to trigger a strong avoidance response in the nose. A 2010 open-field rat study at Chulalongkorn University recorded direct avoidance behavior at low menthol concentrations. Plant peppermint at the foundation, chimney bases, dry vents, gaps where pipes enter the wall. Keep it in containers, it spreads aggressively. Use a 12-inch deep pot. Anything shallower and the roots break through. Refresh the soil every spring to keep the menthol concentration high. Number 3. Garlic. Allium sativum. Allicin and diallyl disulfide hit a rat's trigeminal nerve like pepper spray. Cornell's New York State IPM program tested garlic-based deterrents in indoor rodent trials and recorded clear avoidance. Plant cloves 4 inches apart, pointed end up, 2 inches deep. Fall planting gives the strongest spring bulbs. Replant the largest cloves each year. And that brings us to the safety section. You earned this stop. Rule number 1. Physical zoning. Garlic, wormwood, elderberry and pennyroyal must go behind a small fence or chicken wire, away from walkways and out of reach of any child under 5. ASPCA lists garlic as toxic to dogs. 11 raw cloves are enough to cause hemolytic anemia in a 30-pound dog. Rule 2. Never spray concentrated essential oils on your patio or driveway. Most pet poisonings from these plants do not come from chewing the leaves. They come from a dog walking through sprayed oil and licking its paws. Grow the plants, do not spray the oils. Rule 3. Save the ASPCA poison control number in your phone right now. If your dog or cat shows pale gums, blood in urine, tremors or sudden weakness, that is a vet emergency, not a wait and see. Back to the list. Number 2. Wormwood, Artemisia absinthium, Fugone. A Journal of Toxicological Sciences 13-week study set a no observed effect level at 1.27 grams per kilo. Strong stuff. Plant it only at the outer perimeter, fence line, shed corners, the back of the property. Start from a nursery plant, not seed, and give it full sun. Wormwood self-seeds aggressively, so deadhead the flowers in late summer unless you want a thicket. Number 1. Elderberry, Sambucus. The stems and leaves contain sambunagrin, which breaks down into hydrocyanic acid in a mammal's digestive tract. Rats tend to avoid it. Brooklyn Botanic Garden and the UC Davis IPM program both endorse elderberry as part of urban rodent prevention. Choose a named variety, like Black Lace or Adams. Wild seedlings can be too tall to manage. Prune hard every winter to keep it under 6 feet. Total cost for all 7, under $15 at any nursery. Bonus plant. Pennyroyal. Research suggests pennyroyal can be roughly 3 times more potent than peppermint as a deterrent. But here is why I am telling you to skip it if you have pets. The active compound, pulegon, metabolizes into a liver toxin called menthofuran. 1 ASPCA documented case is enough. In 90 seconds, I will show you the overhead garden map, exactly which plant goes in which zone. The single layout that ties this whole system together is coming up next. Grab a pen, write this down. This is the part that turns 7 plants into a working system. The 3-zone defense. Zone 1, perimeter, the outer edge of your property. Fence line, shed corners, behind outbuildings. This is where elderberry and wormwood go. Both are perennial. Both are strong enough to deter on their own. Both are toxic enough that you want them as far from the house as possible. Zone 2, border, the middle layer. Garden beds, gravel walkways, the trash and compost area. This is where garlic and marigolds live. Above ground scent from the garlic, below ground chemistry from the marigold roots. Double protection at the layer most rats use as a highway. Zone 3, foundation. The skin of your house. Bottom of walls, basement windows, vents, anywhere a pipe enters. This is peppermint and rosemary territory. Both are gentler. Rosemary is non-toxic. Peppermint is manageable. Safe to plant under windows where kids hang out. Now the planting sequence. Start with the perimeter. Elderberry and wormwood are perennials. They take a full season to fill in. Plant them first, border second. Garlic in fall for spring harvest. Marigolds in spring after the last frost. Foundation last. Peppermint and rosemary establish in weeks. Here is the calendar most people get wrong. Early spring, after your last frost, plant your marigolds, peppermint, and lavender. These are your fast establishers. Late spring, transplant rosemary once the soil is warm. Summer is for maintenance only. Pinch, prune, water deep once a week. Early fall is your most important window. This is when you plant garlic cloves, prune lavender, and put elderberry and wormwood into the ground. Cold roots through winter make perennial herbs 3 times stronger the following spring. Late fall, mulch every plant with 2 inches of bark or straw. Winter, leave them alone. Do not prune, do not feed. Rats are most active in late fall as they look for warm shelter. So your scent wall has to be in place by October at the latest, not started in November. Miss that window and you lose a full season of protection. Total cash outlay for 7 plants in 3 zones, about $12 to $15 at any garden center. Compare that to a typical exterminator visit, $50 to $200, and you are paying it every season. And here is the part most people miss. Plants alone will not finish the job. A gardener in Ohio wrote in last fall. She did the full 3-zone install, perfect placement, and still had rats. Turned out her bird feeder was dropping seed into the same border she had just planted. The rats did not care about the lavender. They were eating better than her. Plants are part of an integrated approach. 3 things you have to combine with them. 1. Seal entry points. Any gap larger than 1/4 inch, stuff it with steel wool and patch with cork or cement. Rats can fit through a hole the size of a quarter. 2. Remove the food source. Cover trash bins. Bring pet bowls in at night. Pick up fallen fruit. If there is nothing to eat, there is nothing to defend. 3. A motion sensor floodlight at the back of the property. Rats run from sudden light. A $20 fixture from any hardware store handles this. Here are the 3 reasons your plant wall stops working even when you do everything right. 1. You planted in 1 zone only. Foundation looks beautiful, but the perimeter is wide open. Rats walk right in and your foundation plants stop them too late. They are already inside the yard. 2. You let 1 plant dominate. If a single peppermint patch grows to 4 feet and crowds out the marigolds, your layering collapses and the habituation rule kicks back in within 10 days. Prune for balance, not for size. 3. You stopped rotating the scent mix. Plants lose potency in late summer when essential oil production drops with the heat. Crush a leaf in your fingers every 2 weeks. If the scent is faint, the rats are already not smelling it. Add fresh cuttings around entry points to top up the smell wall until next year's growth comes in. Quick recap before we close. 7 plants, ranked by safety and proven effect. Rosemary, marigolds, lavender at the gentle end. Peppermint, garlic in the middle, wormwood and elderberry at the strong end. All for under $15 at a single nursery run. 3 zones, not 1 bed. Perimeter, border, foundation, so a rat's nose never gets a break. 3 safety rules. Fence off the toxic plants. Never spray the oils. Save the ASPCA number. And the pennyroyal question I opened with. Pennyroyal is roughly 3 times stronger than peppermint at deterring rats. The reason no responsible channel recommends it, its active compound metabolizes into menthofuran, a documented liver toxin. If you have a dog, a cat, or anyone pregnant in your household, it is a hard skip. There are 7 other plants that do the job without the risk. 3 questions I get every week. Will this work against mice? Yes, but mice habituate faster than rats. You may need to add one extra zone of peppermint near interior vents. What if I rent and cannot plant in the ground? Use large containers, 15-gallon minimum, and group them at the 3 zones. The scent radius is smaller, but the principle works. Does this redirect rats away for good? In most cases, yes, as long as you maintain the scent wall seasonally and seal entry points. This system redirects rats off your property towards somewhere with weaker scent cover, which is a humane outcome. If you want the next layer of pest defense, the first link in the description is my Stop Pulling 6 Weeds walkthrough. Same 3-zone logic, different problem. Here is the question I want you to answer in the comments. Which zone of your yard has the most rat activity right now? Perimeter, border, or foundation? The more specific you are, the more useful my reply will be. I read every comment for the first 48 hours. Plant once, smell barrier works for years. Happy gardening.